If you've ever woken up suddenly between 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. for no clear reason at all, no alarm, no noise, just your eyes opening in the quiet darkness, this isn't random. This is one of the most spiritually significant windows of the entire day, and most people sleep right through its power without ever realizing what they're missing. Stay with me, because I'm about to show you exactly 4 things you should do the next time this happens, and why this quiet hour might just change the direction of your entire life. Let's talk about why this specific window between 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. holds such deep significance across so many spiritual traditions and cultures throughout history. This isn't a modern idea or trend. For centuries, monks, spiritual teachers, and wisdom traditions across the world have recognized this early morning hour as one of the most sacred, powerful times of the entire day. During this window, the world around you is almost completely still. Most people are asleep. The noise of daily life hasn't yet begun. Traffic hasn't started. Phones aren't buzzing with notifications. And the constant mental noise that fills your mind throughout a typical day hasn't yet had the chance to build up. This stillness creates a rare opportunity, a natural gap where your mind is quiet enough to access deeper clarity, insight, and connection than almost any other time of day. If you find yourself waking up naturally during this window, without any external cause, it's worth paying attention rather than immediately forcing yourself back to sleep. Many people who practice deep spiritual or meditative traditions describe this specific time as a moment when the boundary between your conscious mind and your deeper intuition becomes especially thin, allowing insights, clarity, and guidance to surface more easily than during the busy, distracted hours of the day. This doesn't mean waking up at this time always carries some mystical message. Sometimes, waking up naturally simply reflects your body's sleep cycle completing a phase. But many people report a distinct difference between random nighttime waking and this specific quiet, alert feeling that sometimes accompanies waking during this early window. A sense of clarity or stillness that feels different from ordinary sleep disruption. Rather than immediately reaching for your phone or frustratedly trying to force yourself back to sleep, this window offers a unique opportunity to engage in specific practices that many people find deeply beneficial. Practices that align you with clarity, intention, and inner peace before the busyness of the day fully begins. In the next few parts, I'm going to walk you through 4 specific things you can do during this quiet window. Simple, accessible practices that don't require special training or equipment. Just a few quiet moments of intentional presence during one of the most naturally powerful hours the day has to offer. Let's talk about the first thing you should do if you wake up during this window. Simply lying still in the silence, allowing yourself a few moments of quiet awareness before reaching for your phone or immediately getting out of bed. This might sound incredibly simple, almost too simple to matter, but this practice holds significant value. In our modern world, most people, upon waking at any hour, immediately reach for their phone, checking notifications, scrolling through social media, or reading the news, filling their mind with external noise before they've even had a chance to connect with their own inner state. This immediate distraction prevents you from experiencing the natural clarity and stillness this early window offers. Instead, when you wake up during this time, try simply staying still, eyes open or closed, allowing yourself to fully notice the silence and stillness around you. Pay attention to your breath, the quiet of the room, the natural stillness of this early hour, without immediately rushing to fill it with noise, distraction, or activity. This practice, though simple, allows your mind and body to remain in a naturally calm, receptive state, rather than immediately jolting into busy, distracted mental activity. During this quiet stillness, you might notice thoughts, feelings, or insights naturally surfacing. Things you've been avoiding thinking about during your busy day, creative ideas, emotional clarity about a situation you've been struggling with, or simply a deep sense of peace that's harder to access during more hectic hours. Allow these thoughts and feelings to surface naturally without forcing or judging them, simply observing with gentle curiosity. This practice of stillness also offers valuable benefits for your nervous system. Immediately jumping into activity or mental stimulation after waking can create unnecessary stress or tension in your body. But allowing yourself a few moments of quiet stillness helps ease your body gently from sleep into wakefulness, reducing unnecessary stress and allowing you to start your day from a place of calm rather than immediate urgency or distraction. Even if you only have a few minutes before needing to fall back asleep or before your day genuinely needs to begin, these few minutes of intentional stillness can create a meaningful shift in how you experience the rest of your day, starting from a place of quiet presence rather than immediate busyness or external distraction. Let's talk about the second thing you should do during this quiet window: practicing gratitude, consciously reflecting on specific things you're genuinely thankful for before the busyness and stress of the day has a chance to take over your mind. This early morning window offers a uniquely powerful opportunity for gratitude practice, precisely because your mind is naturally quieter and less distracted than during other parts of the day. Without the usual noise of daily responsibilities, worries, or distractions, you're able to genuinely connect with feelings of gratitude in a deeper, more meaningful way than when your mind is already occupied with the day's demands. Practicing gratitude during this window doesn't require anything complicated. Simply bring to mind a few specific things you're genuinely grateful for: your health, meaningful relationships, opportunities in your life, or even smaller everyday blessings that often go unnoticed during busier hours. The key is genuine, specific reflection rather than vague or rushed thoughts. Instead of simply thinking, "I'm grateful for my family," try reflecting on a specific moment or quality about your family that genuinely brings you warmth and appreciation. This practice works powerfully because gratitude naturally shifts your mental and emotional state, moving your focus away from stress, worry, or scarcity toward abundance, appreciation, and peace. Starting your day with this genuine gratitude practice often creates a ripple effect, influencing your mood, perspective, and overall experience throughout the rest of your day. It's also worth noting that this early morning gratitude practice often feels different, more genuine, and deeply felt compared to gratitude practices attempted later in the day, when your mind is already occupied with numerous responsibilities and distractions. The natural stillness of this early hour allows gratitude to be experienced more fully, rather than simply listed mentally as a quick, distracted exercise. If specific worries or stresses naturally arise during this practice, gently acknowledge them without judgment, then consciously redirect your focus back toward genuine appreciation and gratitude. This doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring genuine concerns. It simply means intentionally choosing, during this specific quiet window, to focus your energy toward gratitude and positive reflection, rather than allowing worry or stress to dominate this naturally peaceful time. As you continue practicing this intentional gratitude during your early morning waking moments, you'll likely notice a significant positive shift in your overall mood, perspective, and emotional resilience throughout your day, starting each morning from a place of genuine appreciation rather than immediate stress or distraction. Let's talk about the third thing you should do during this quiet window: setting a clear, intentional focus for your day ahead, rather than allowing your day to unfold entirely reactive and unplanned. This early morning window offers a valuable opportunity to consciously set your intention before the demands and distractions of daily life fully take over. Instead of immediately jumping into your day's tasks, responsibilities, or reactive responses to whatever comes your way, taking a few quiet moments to intentionally decide how you want to approach your day creates significant positive impact on your overall experience and effectiveness. This practice might involve simply asking yourself internally, "What matters most today?" Or, "How do I want to show up in my interactions and responsibilities today?" This isn't about creating a detailed, rigid to-do list. It's about connecting with a genuine sense of purpose and intention. allowing this clarity to guide your decisions and reactions throughout the day, rather than simply reacting passively to whatever circumstances arise. Setting this intention during the quiet, undistracted stillness of early morning allows you to connect more genuinely with what truly matters to you, rather than getting caught up in urgent but ultimately less meaningful tasks that often dominate our attention once the busyness of the day begins. This early clarity helps you prioritize more effectively, focusing your energy on what genuinely aligns with your deeper values and goals. This practice also significantly impacts your emotional and mental resilience throughout the day. When you've consciously set an intention beforehand, you're less likely to become completely reactive or overwhelmed by unexpected challenges or stressors, since you've already established a grounded sense of purpose and direction before the day's chaos begins. It's helpful to keep this intention simple and clear, rather than overly complicated or unrealistic. This might be as straightforward as, "Today, I want to approach challenges with patience," or "Today, I want to prioritize genuine connection in my conversations," providing a clear, guiding focus that helps shape your decisions and reactions throughout the day, even during unexpected or challenging situations. As you continue practicing this intentional morning focus, you'll likely notice significant improvement in your overall sense of purpose, effectiveness, and emotional stability throughout your day, moving through your responsibilities and interactions with greater clarity and genuine alignment with your deeper values, rather than simply reacting passively to whatever circumstances happen to arise. Let's talk about the fourth and final thing you should do during this quiet window: engaging in a brief moment of prayer, meditation, or spiritual connection, whatever form genuinely resonates with your own personal beliefs and practices. This early morning window has been recognized across countless spiritual traditions as a particularly powerful time for prayer, meditation, and spiritual connection. Whether your practice involves formal prayer, quiet meditation, mindful breathing, or simply a few moments of genuine spiritual reflection, this quiet, undistracted hour offers a uniquely receptive space for deepening your connection to whatever you consider sacred, meaningful, or spiritually significant in your life. This practice doesn't require lengthy rituals or complicated techniques. Even a few minutes of genuine, focused spiritual connection during this early window can create significant positive impact. This might involve simply expressing gratitude or intention through prayer, sitting quietly in meditation, focusing on your breath, or simply allowing yourself a few moments of genuine stillness and openness to whatever spiritual connection feels meaningful to you personally. Many people find that this early morning window offers a particularly clear, undistracted space for spiritual practice, precisely because the busyness and distractions of daily life haven't yet begun. This stillness often allows for deeper, more genuine spiritual connection than practices attempted later in the day, when your mind is already occupied with numerous responsibilities, distractions, and mental noise. This practice also naturally complements the previous three practices we've discussed: stillness, gratitude, and intentional focus, creating a comprehensive, holistic approach to this early morning window. Together, these four practices create a powerful foundation, grounding you in stillness, gratitude, purpose, and spiritual connection before the busyness of your day fully begins. It's worth noting that this practice doesn't require any specific religious framework or belief system. Whether your spiritual practice involves traditional religious prayer, secular meditation, mindfulness, or simply quiet reflection and connection with your own inner values and sense of purpose, the key is genuine, intentional engagement, rather than any specific technique or tradition. As you continue incorporating this spiritual practice into your early morning waking moments, alongside the other three practices we've discussed throughout this video, you'll likely notice significant positive impact on your overall sense of peace, clarity, and genuine connection, both to yourself and to whatever you consider spiritually meaningful, setting a powerful, grounded foundation for the rest of your day ahead. Now that we've covered the 4 core practices, let's talk about something equally important: understanding why this specific combination of practices, done consistently during this early window, creates effects that extend far beyond just that single morning. When you consistently practice stillness, gratitude, intentional focus, and spiritual connection during this early hour, even just a few times a week, you begin training your nervous system and mind toward a completely different baseline state. Instead of starting most days reactively, jolted awake by an alarm, and immediately rushing into stress or urgency, your mind and body gradually learn to associate waking with calm, clarity, and peace instead. This shift doesn't happen overnight. The first few times you practice these 4 things, you might not notice dramatic differences. But with consistency, something begins to change. You start noticing that you handle unexpected challenges throughout your day with greater patience. You notice that anxious or racing thoughts don't overwhelm you as easily. You notice a growing sense of inner steadiness, even during genuinely difficult or stressful circumstances. This happens because the early morning practices we've discussed aren't just isolated moments of peace. They're training your entire nervous system toward greater resilience and calm. Just as physical exercise gradually builds strength through consistent practice, these spiritual and mental practices gradually build emotional and spiritual resilience, creating lasting positive change that extends throughout your entire day and eventually throughout your entire life. It's also worth understanding that consistency matters far more than perfection with these practices. You don't need to wake up naturally during this exact window every single day for these practices to create meaningful impact. Even practicing these 4 things on the mornings when you do naturally wake up during this window creates significant cumulative benefit over time, gradually reshaping your relationship with your own mind, your emotions, and your sense of inner peace. As you continue incorporating these practices whenever you find yourself naturally awake during this early window, remind yourself that you're not just experiencing a single peaceful morning. You're gradually building a foundation of resilience, clarity, and spiritual connection that will continue supporting you through every season and challenge of your life ahead. Let's talk now about something important: understanding why so many people specifically wake up during this exact window, and what this pattern might suggest about your own inner state and spiritual journey. Many people report waking up specifically between 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. during particularly significant periods of their lives, times of major decision-making, periods of spiritual growth or awakening, seasons of healing from past pain, or moments when their subconscious mind is actively working through something important that hasn't yet fully surfaced into their conscious awareness during the busy hours of the day. This pattern often reflects your mind and spirit, attempting to communicate something important, insight, guidance, or clarity that struggles to break through during the noise and distraction of your regular waking hours. During sleep, particularly during these early morning hours when your sleep cycles naturally shift toward lighter stages, your subconscious mind often becomes more active, sometimes surfacing important thoughts, feelings, or insights that gently wake you from sleep. This doesn't mean every instance of early waking carries deep spiritual significance. Sometimes it simply reflects normal sleep cycle patterns, stress, or other everyday factors. But paying attention to patterns over time, noticing if this early waking seems to happen more frequently during particular seasons or challenges in your life, offers valuable insight into your own inner journey and what your subconscious mind might be working to process or communicate. If you notice this pattern occurring consistently during a particular season of your life, it's worth reflecting honestly on what might be happening beneath the surface. Are you facing an important decision you've been avoiding? Are you processing grief, change, or significant life transition? Are you on the verge of important personal or spiritual growth that your conscious mind hasn't yet fully acknowledged? This early waking might be gently inviting you to pay closer attention to these deeper processes happening within you. Rather than viewing this pattern with anxiety or frustration, particularly if it happens frequently, try approaching it with curiosity and openness, using the 4 practices we've discussed throughout this video as valuable tools for exploring and processing whatever your inner self might be working through during this significant season of your life. As you continue paying attention to this pattern with genuine curiosity rather than resistance, you'll likely gain valuable insight into your own inner journey, using these early morning moments as meaningful opportunities for genuine reflection, healing, and spiritual growth, rather than simply frustrating interruptions to your regular sleep pattern. Let's talk now about something practical. Understanding how to fall back asleep peacefully after practicing these 4 things, since many people worry that engaging in these practices might prevent them from returning to restful sleep afterward. This is a common and completely valid concern. After all, most people need adequate sleep to function well throughout their day, and worrying about not falling back asleep can sometimes create additional anxiety that actually makes returning to sleep more difficult. Understanding how to approach this transition peacefully becomes an important part of incorporating these early morning practices sustainably into your life. The good news is, these 4 practices, stillness, gratitude, intentional focus, and spiritual connection, are generally calming rather than stimulating, meaning they typically support rather than hinder your ability to return to peaceful sleep afterward. Unlike activities like checking your phone, scrolling through social media, or engaging in stimulating mental activity, these practices naturally align with your body's transition back toward restful sleep. After completing these practices, rather than immediately forcing yourself to fall back asleep, which can sometimes create additional tension or anxiety, try simply allowing yourself to remain in a relaxed, peaceful state, continuing to breathe slowly and deeply, without placing pressure on yourself to immediately return to sleep. Often, sleep naturally returns on its own once your mind and body have settled into this calm, peaceful state without requiring forceful effort on your part. If you find yourself remaining awake despite these practices, rather than becoming frustrated or anxious about not sleeping, try simply resting peacefully, allowing your body to receive restorative benefit even without fully returning to sleep. Sometimes, quiet rest, even without complete sleep, still provides meaningful physical and mental restoration, particularly when combined with the calming practices we've discussed throughout this video. It's also helpful to keep your environment conducive to returning to sleep, avoiding bright lights, screens, or stimulating activities during this practice, maintaining a dark, quiet, comfortable environment that naturally supports your body's return to restful sleep after completing these peaceful morning practices. As you continue practicing these 4 things during your early morning waking moments, you'll likely find that not only do these practices support genuine spiritual and emotional benefit, but they also naturally align with your body's ability to return to peaceful, restful sleep afterward, creating a sustainable, beneficial practice that doesn't compromise your overall sleep quality or daily energy levels. Let's talk now about something powerful, understanding how this early morning practice specifically supports your intuition and inner guidance, helping you make clearer, more aligned decisions throughout your life. One of the most significant benefits many people report from consistently practicing these 4 things during their early morning waking moments involves a noticeable improvement in their intuition, their ability to sense clarity and guidance about important decisions, relationships, or life directions. This happens because the quiet stillness of this early hour naturally quiets the constant mental chatter and external noise that often drowns out our deeper intuitive wisdom during busier hours of the day. During regular daily hours, our minds are typically filled with constant stimulation, information, opinions from others, social media influence, and the general busyness of modern life. This constant input often makes it incredibly difficult to hear or trust our own inner voice, our genuine intuition about what feels right or aligned for our own unique life path. But during this quiet, early morning window, with significantly less external noise and distraction, your inner voice often becomes noticeably clearer and easier to recognize. This is why many people who consistently practice this early morning ritual report experiencing sudden clarity about difficult decisions, insights about relationships or situations they've been struggling to understand, or simply a stronger overall sense of trust in their own inner guidance and judgment. The stillness and intentional focus created during these practices allows this deeper intuitive wisdom space to surface more naturally than during the busy, distracted hours of typical daily life. Developing this stronger connection to your intuition through consistent practice doesn't happen immediately. It develops gradually over time, similar to strengthening any skill through regular practice. The more consistently you engage in these early morning practices, the more naturally attuned you become to recognizing and trusting your own inner guidance, both during these quiet morning moments and increasingly throughout your regular daily life as well. This growing connection to your intuition becomes an incredibly valuable resource, helping you navigate important decisions, relationships, and life transitions with greater confidence and clarity rather than constantly seeking external validation or feeling overwhelmed by uncertainty and confusion. As you continue practicing these 4 things consistently during your early morning waking moments, pay attention to any insights, clarity, or intuitive nudges that arise, both during these practices themselves and throughout your regular day afterward, recognizing this growing connection to your own inner wisdom as one of the most valuable benefits this consistent practice can offer throughout your life. Let's talk now about something important: understanding how to remain patient and consistent with this practice, even during periods when you don't notice immediate, dramatic results or insights. Like any meaningful spiritual or personal growth practice, the benefits of consistently engaging with this early morning window often develop gradually, sometimes almost imperceptibly, rather than through immediate, dramatic transformation. It's important to approach this practice with patience and realistic expectations, understanding that genuine, lasting benefit typically develops through consistent, long-term practice, rather than through occasional or sporadic engagement. Many people, after trying this practice a few times without immediately noticing significant insights or dramatic peace, might become discouraged, wondering if the practice genuinely offers the benefits described throughout this video. This is completely normal, and understanding this in advance helps you maintain realistic expectations and continued patience throughout your ongoing practice. Remember that the primary value of these practices often lies not in dramatic, immediate results, but in gradual, cumulative benefit, slowly reshaping your relationship with stress, your emotional resilience, your spiritual connection, and your overall inner peace over time. Just as physical exercise doesn't create immediate dramatic strength after a single workout, but gradually builds strength and endurance through consistent practice, these spiritual and mental practices similarly require patience and consistency to fully experience their genuine benefit. It's also helpful to release any pressure or expectation around receiving specific, dramatic spiritual insights or guidance every single time you practice these 4 things. Sometimes, the practice simply offers quiet peace and stillness, without necessarily providing specific insights or dramatic clarity in that particular moment. This is still valuable, even without dramatic revelation, since the cumulative effect of consistent stillness, gratitude, intentional focus, and spiritual connection creates meaningful benefit over time, regardless of whether each individual practice feels particularly significant or insightful. Approaching this practice with genuine curiosity and openness rather than rigid expectations about specific outcomes allows you to experience whatever genuine benefit naturally unfolds through your consistent practice, rather than becoming discouraged or frustrated when specific expectations aren't immediately met during each individual practice session. As you continue this practice with patience and consistency, trusting the gradual cumulative nature of genuine spiritual and personal growth, you'll likely notice increasing benefit over time, even if individual practice sessions don't always feel particularly dramatic or immediately insightful. Understanding that genuine transformation often happens gradually through consistent, patient practice rather than through occasional, dramatic breakthrough moments alone. Let's talk now about something meaningful. Understanding how this early morning practice can specifically support you during particularly difficult seasons of life, times of grief, uncertainty, major life transitions, or significant emotional struggle. During particularly challenging periods of life, this early morning window often becomes even more significant and valuable, offering a quiet, sacred space for processing difficult emotions, finding moments of peace amid chaos, and connecting with deeper strength and guidance during times when you need it most. Many people specifically report increased early morning waking during genuinely difficult seasons, suggesting their spirit or subconscious mind is actively seeking this quiet space for processing and healing. During these difficult periods, the practice of stillness becomes especially valuable, offering a rare moment of genuine peace amid what might otherwise feel like constant emotional turmoil or overwhelming circumstances throughout your regular day. Even brief moments of quiet stillness during this early window can provide meaningful emotional relief and restoration during particularly challenging times. The practice of gratitude, while sometimes feeling more difficult during genuinely painful seasons, becomes especially powerful precisely because of this difficulty. Finding even small things to genuinely appreciate during difficult times, even amid significant pain or struggle, helps maintain perspective and emotional resilience without denying or minimizing the genuine difficulty you're experiencing. Setting intentional focus during difficult seasons might look different than during easier periods of life. Rather than ambitious goals or achievements, your intention might simply involve, "Today, I want to be gentle with myself," or "Today, I want to allow myself to feel whatever emotions arise without judgment." This adjusted, compassionate intention setting becomes particularly valuable during genuinely difficult emotional seasons. Finally, spiritual connection often becomes especially meaningful during difficult times, offering comfort, guidance, and a sense of connection to something greater than your immediate struggle or pain. Many people report finding significant comfort and strength through prayer, meditation, or spiritual reflection, specifically during their most challenging life seasons, using this early morning window as a sacred space for genuine spiritual support and comfort. As you navigate any particularly difficult season in your own life, remember that this early morning practice offers valuable, accessible support, a quiet space for processing, healing, and finding genuine strength and comfort, even amid significant struggle or uncertainty, offering meaningful support precisely when you need it most throughout your life's more challenging seasons and experiences. Let's talk now about something practical, understanding how to gently encourage this natural early morning waking pattern. If you're someone who wants to experience these benefits, but doesn't currently wake up naturally during this window. While this early morning waking often happens naturally, sometimes reflecting deeper spiritual or subconscious processes as we've discussed throughout this video, some people genuinely want to intentionally cultivate this practice, even if they don't currently experience natural waking during this specific window. If this describes your own situation, there are gentle, healthy ways to encourage this pattern without forcing or creating unnecessary sleep disruption. One helpful approach involves gradually adjusting your sleep schedule, going to bed slightly earlier than your current routine, allowing your body's natural sleep cycles to potentially align more closely with this early morning window. This doesn't require dramatic, sudden changes, simply gradually shifting your bedtime slightly earlier over time, allowing your body's natural rhythms to adjust gently, rather than forcing sudden, potentially disruptive changes to your regular sleep pattern. It's also helpful to create a peaceful, intentional bedtime routine that naturally supports deeper, more restorative sleep, since deeper, higher quality sleep often naturally includes lighter sleep phases during these early morning hours, potentially increasing the likelihood of natural waking during this window. This might involve reducing screen time before bed, creating a calm, dark sleeping environment, and engaging in relaxing activities before sleep that support genuine restfulness throughout the night. If you're specifically interested in experiencing this early morning window intentionally, you might also consider gently setting an intention before sleep, simply expressing genuine openness to naturally waking during this window if it would benefit your spiritual or emotional well-being, without placing pressure or rigid expectation on this specific outcome occurring every single night. It's important to approach this practice with genuine flexibility and self-compassion, rather than forcing rigid, artificial early waking through alarms or excessive sleep disruption, which could potentially create unnecessary sleep deprivation or stress, ultimately working against rather than supporting your overall well-being and spiritual growth. As you continue exploring this practice, whether through natural waking or gentle, intentional cultivation, remember that the genuine value lies in the quality and intentionality of your practice during this window, rather than rigid adherence to waking at this exact time every single day. Allowing yourself flexibility and self-compassion as you explore this meaningful, potentially beneficial practice throughout your own unique life and circumstances. Let's talk now about something meaningful, understanding how this practice, over time, becomes less about the specific early morning hour and more about cultivating a deeper, ongoing relationship with stillness, gratitude, intention, and spiritual connection throughout your entire life. As you continue practicing these 4 things consistently, whenever you naturally find yourself awake during this early window, something beautiful often begins happening. The qualities you're cultivating during these quiet morning moments, presence, gratitude, intentional focus, and spiritual connection, gradually begin extending beyond just this specific early hour, influencing how you move through your entire day and eventually your entire life. You might notice yourself naturally pausing for brief moments of stillness during stressful situations throughout your day, drawing on the same calm presence you've cultivated during your early morning practice. You might notice gratitude arising more spontaneously throughout your daily experiences, no longer confined solely to your dedicated morning practice, but naturally woven throughout your ordinary, everyday moments as well. This expansion represents the deeper purpose behind this early morning practice. While the specific window between 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. offers a uniquely powerful, quiet space for these practices, the ultimate goal isn't simply experiencing peace during this isolated hour. It's gradually developing these qualities as a natural, ongoing part of who you are, extending far beyond any single practice session or specific time of day. This is why consistency matters so significantly throughout this journey. Each time you engage in these practices during your early morning waking moments, you're not just experiencing isolated benefit during that specific hour, you're gradually training your entire being, your mind, your emotions, your spirit, toward greater presence, gratitude, intention, and connection, qualities that naturally begin influencing every other area and moment of your life over time. As you continue this practice, remain open to noticing these qualities gradually expanding beyond just your early morning moments, recognizing this expansion as genuine evidence of the deeper transformation this practice offers, extending far beyond simply experiencing peaceful mornings toward genuinely cultivating a more present, grateful, intentional, and spiritually connected way of moving through your entire life. Let's talk now about something important as we near the end of this journey, understanding that this practice, like any meaningful spiritual growth, works best when approached with genuine authenticity rather than rigid perfectionism or comparison to how others might experience this same window. Throughout this video, we've discussed powerful practices and potential benefits associated with this early morning window. But it's important to remember that your own experience with this practice will be uniquely yours, different from how others might experience these same 4 practices. Different insights, different levels of clarity, different emotional responses, all completely valid and meaningful within your own personal journey. Avoid comparing your experience to others, whether people you know personally or accounts you might read or hear about online. Some people might experience dramatic, immediate insights during this practice, while others might simply experience quiet peace without particularly dramatic revelation. Both experiences are equally valid and valuable, reflecting your own unique spiritual journey and inner process, rather than any objective measure of whether you're doing the practice correctly. It's also important to release any pressure toward achieving perfect consistency with this practice. Life circumstances, health, sleep patterns, and daily responsibilities naturally vary, meaning you won't always wake up during this exact window. And even when you do, you won't always have the same quality of experience during your practice. This natural variation is completely normal and doesn't indicate failure or lack of spiritual progress on your part. Approaching this practice with genuine self-compassion, patience, and authenticity, rather than rigid expectation or comparison to others, allows you to experience whatever genuine benefit naturally unfolds through your own unique relationship with this early morning window, honoring your own individual journey, rather than forcing your experience to match some external standard or comparison. As you continue this practice moving forward, remember that the ultimate value lies not in perfect execution or dramatic, consistent revelation, but in genuine, authentic engagement with these 4 practices: stillness, gratitude, intention, and spiritual connection, allowing your own unique journey and experience to unfold naturally with patience, self-compassion, and genuine openness throughout this ongoing spiritual practice. As we come to the end of this journey together, remember this truth deeply: that quiet moment when your eyes open between 4 a.m. and 5 a.m., when the world around you is still, silent, and undisturbed, isn't wasted time, and it isn't simply an inconvenient interruption to your sleep. It's a sacred, powerful window, one that countless spiritual traditions throughout history have recognized as uniquely valuable for stillness, gratitude, intentional focus, and spiritual connection. You've learned the 4 things worth practicing during this window: lying still in quiet awareness, reflecting on genuine gratitude, setting a clear intention for your day, and connecting with prayer, meditation, or spiritual reflection. You've also learned why this practice matters so deeply, how it strengthens your intuition, supports you during difficult seasons, and gradually extends its benefits far beyond this single hour into every other part of your life. Moving forward, the next time you find yourself naturally awake during this quiet, early window, resist the urge to immediately reach for your phone or frustratedly force yourself back to sleep. Instead, embrace this rare, sacred stillness. Lie quietly, feel genuine gratitude, set your intention, connect spiritually, and trust that this simple, consistent practice has the power to gradually transform not just your mornings, but your entire relationship with peace, clarity, and inner guidance throughout your life. If this video brought you clarity, comfort, or a new appreciation for this quiet, powerful window, take a moment right now. Like this video so it reaches someone else who genuinely needs to hear this today. Subscribe to this channel because this is only the beginning of the wisdom we'll continue exploring together. And leave a comment below, sharing whether you've experienced this early morning waking yourself. I read every single one. This has been Master Shen. Stay still, stay grateful, and I'll see you in the next one.